Okay, hopefully you can hear me. I don't have one of them fancy mics like the YouTubers have. So I got my pieces, my two stiles, and my two rails. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry fit, put them together loosely, slide them in, and I'm going to grab my piece of plywood and I'm going to just confirm that I didn't make a mistake and miscut my plywood, because that never happens. And this looks good. You might notice that my pieces have pieces of green tape on them. So what I do when I set the rotor up, I look at each piece individually and I pick the best side. And then I mark the bad side. And I run them all through the rotor the same way, because it's really hard to get the bit lined up perfectly so that when this goes together, there's no lip. There's no lip where the two pieces join. And I do that, and I wish you could feel this, but on the good side, there's no lip. On the bad side, there's a bit of a lip. Unfortunately, or fortunately, this stuff was all pre-planed when I got it. So I noticed this after. Some of the pieces were just a shade, I would say maybe a 32nd of an inch thicker than other pieces. So we got a little bit of sanding to do, but obviously it's pine, so it sands really easy. You just got to be careful and be uniform and don't make any grooves and hollow spots. So the first thing I do when I put it together, I put the bad side up and I take off all this tape. I'm gonna mark one piece and I'm gonna put it back on when I'm done, so that the guy that's installing these doors, my friend, doesn't have to measure each piece. Kind of a little favor for him. So I'm gonna take those off, and I'll fast forward through some of this. I'm not expecting anybody to watch this whole process, but just thought some people might want to build some cabinets for their shop or their shed or whatever. Okay, so we got the pieces off, and I'm going to put some glue on. I'm using Titebond. That's what all the pro carpenters online use, so I figured it must be good. So I'm going to add a little bit. And I got a brush here. I'm going to spread it out evenly, or best I can. I want it on the lip as well as the tongue. So that's good. And spread it out. And I'm sure the real carpenters out there are probably saying, oh my God, what's this guy doing? That's all right. I don't mind. So I'm going to put it in and get it very close to flush on the side. Same thing on this end. Pretty boring stuff. I haven't had any supper yet, so my stomach is growling. If the microphone's working real good, you might hear something strange. Anyway, that's pretty close. Now I've got a rag that I've soaked in water a while ago and wrung it out. And every step I do, I take off the excess glue, because anyone that's done carpentry, after your piece is all put together, dried, you know what it's like to have dried glue to either try to sand off or chisel. And once we put it in the clamps, we have to do that again, obviously. So one thing I like to do, and I'm sure the carpenters again will say, oh my God, the center panel is supposed to be floating, not really supposed to be fastened. Now, they say that if you're using solid wood, that the expansion and contraction, you want it floating to allow it movement so it doesn't break your joints. But I'm using plywood, 1/4 inch plywood. Plywood doesn't expand and contract nearly as much as solid wood. And I learned this the hard way. I didn't do it on a couple of the first cabinets, and I stained them. And when I installed them, a few weeks later of closing and opening and banging the cabinet doors, the panel actually moved down a little bit, and then there was a line at the top of the panel where it wasn't stained, and you could see a white line. So we got to go back and touch them up with some stain later. So what I do, I put a good old gob of glue in each corner, only on one side. So that's good. Then I take my panel, and I know this is the bad side that's facing me, so I look at the panel and I pick out the bad or the good. Usually they're pretty close. This is supposed to be finished on both sides, but we'll go with this side. We're going to slide it in the grooves, like so. And again, what I do, I push it all the way down to the bottom so the corners get a little bit of that glue on that I put in. And then I pull them back up, maybe 1/8 of an inch, in preparation for the top style. So, I put a little bit of glue on again, like that. And again, I'll fast forward through a lot of this crap. I'm sure you don't need it seen over and over again, but, and I don't know if anybody wants to see it, but I was interested to try this YouTube thing. I don't know. Why not? I only go this way once. And if anybody's got any comments, you can only leave the good ones. I don't care. You can leave bad comments. Doesn't matter. I would be very interested to see what the real carpenters had to say, though. The real cabinet makers. I would love to spend a day or two in a real cabinet shop. All right, that's pretty good coverage. So then I'm going to take my top style, and you know what? I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm getting old and blind and all that stuff. Right. That's not bad. So then I just make a quick look at where the tongue goes in the groove. And I don't know if you can see, this end is pretty good, pretty flush. This end, it's out just a little bit. This rail needs to come out. So again, I got a piece of scrap wood here, and I gotta go grab my hammer, right here. And I'm just gonna tack that out just a bit. A little bit more. Oh, just a shade. Perfect, good. Double check the other end, it's good. So now I'm gonna take my wet rag, see the glue, and I'm gonna take it off. And believe me, if you don't do this, you'll wish you did. That's for sure. And the other thing I'd like to do is where I put the glue gob in the bottom corners. Now this one, I don't see any. Sometimes you'll see a little bit of glue. There's a little bit right there. And again, I use this end of my brush because it's nice and sharp. And I get rid of that because that will show up like you wouldn't believe. Now these are going to be painted, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal. My friend is going to paint them. All right, and it's got some scuffs on it, as you can see, and basically that one is ready for clamps. I like to take my square at this point. I like to take my square, you can see this or not, and just make sure it's close, and that's pretty damn close. That's good. Other end. Yeah, that's right on. So that's good. But when you put them in the clamps, and you tighten them down, and I'll show you that process, it won't take very long, I always check them again, because the clamps can rack the door a little bit. And there's nothing worse once you get them hung on a cabinet to have a door that's at a square. Anyway, that's it for this section.